In Chicago, you know that all sports rock. The Bears, Hawks, Bulls, Cubs, and Sox. Pick your favorite, you can choose. As long as the Packers lose. For everything you need to know, it's Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. This is your hosts, Alex and Sean. On this episode, we are going to be talking about the absolute 180-degree turnaround from this point last year to where we are today. But first, I'd like to thank sponsor, the Rockford Ice Hogs. If you're not familiar with the Rockford Ice Hogs, they're the AHL minor league affiliate of the Chicago Blackhawks. What does that mean for you? You get to see the stars of tomorrow today at family-friendly, affordable prices. Season is going on, so make sure you head on over to icehogs.com, get yourself a hat, shirt, jersey, tickets, and more. Tell them Swerski Sports sent you. Alex, how are you, my friend?
I am doing great. I am doing just great. And as great as I'm doing, I'm sure you're even better because this win has to mean $1 million to a guy who lived in Philadelphia as a Bears fan for a number of years and taking all the shit and remembering some of the losses we had to the hands of the Eagles in recent years, including the infamous double doink playoff game. This was their first win against the Eagles since 2011, so it's been over 10 years. And while they're not a division foe, they are a conference foe, so they do see them often enough. So it has been a while since the Bears have beaten them. But I mean, this made a statement on so many levels. So I just got to default to you first on how unbelievably happy you are right now.
Let me just say is I did not get any messages from anyone. that should sum it up.
Crickets.
Is every other time the Bears have played the Eagles and the Bears have lost, everybody comes out of the woodwork. People that like I knew from my time there that I haven't talked to in years suddenly have opinions and want to make sure that they are heard. Chirp, 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 chirp. Guess what? All quiet.
Silence.
Crickets. The deafening silence. Love it.
Oh, yes, that is great. And of course, I know the missus is probably not all happy right now, huh?
Ew, the boos were coming from my living room.
Man, it's crazy. They were booing from the first drive of the game. This was an 8-3 team, the defending Super Bowl champs, a fan base that since 2017 has seen 3 trips to the Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowl wins, coming off their latest Super Bowl win, and still in perfect position to make the playoffs. Now, I understand that this offense has not looked the same this year, especially over the past few weeks, and they've been getting away with it, but they didn't get away with it this time. And the other thing that really got me about this game, and me and some friends were downtown at Wrigley Field, actually. We were at the Chris Kindle Mart at Gallagher Way. So we were trying to contribute to the Hey Tom Ricketts Spend Money This Offseason Fund. And it was on the big screen. So I saw the first half, and we were listening to the second half on the radio. We were listening to Joniak and Thayer on the way home. But what I was noticing when I was watching the game, and when I went back, because, I go back and rewatch the tape and watch everything I can. Did you notice that when they panned to the Philadelphia sideline, it almost looked like they didn't want to be there? Like there was something really off with the Eagles' vibe, and the Bears just took every advantage they could off that. Because if you were to ask me right now who looks more prepared, it was the Bears by a light year. If you asked me who looks more motivated to win that game, it was the Bears by a light year. If you looked at who was just going out there and playing with the motivation and the hunger, it was the Bears. They wanted to prove the world wrong, and you saw shots at Jalen Hurts on the sideline. He looked miserable. Like, he looked absolutely... Did you notice that?
It's funny. So, who were the Super Bowl, in the most recent Super Bowl, who were the 2 teams?
It was the Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Did you watch the Chiefs-Cowboys game?
Yeah.
It was the same exact look on the Chiefs sideline.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up. And hey, remember last week when I talked about the Cowboys? They're playing much better right now.
They are. They really are.
But I still
Um,
expected the Chiefs to win that game. Because I'm thinking, okay, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, they'll pick apart that Eberflus defense. And no, they didn't. I mean, they made some big plays. They got some points on the board, but they ultimately lost. And you're right, it was kind of a similar look.
yeah, it is. It is the Chiefs are a team that's really floundering right now, and the Eagles are absolutely struggling on offense. They've been winning, but it has come at, a big play here and defensive stop here. It has not been the dominant wins that we saw last year.
No. And I said it for most of the year. Saquon Barkley seems to have lost a little bit of juice. And when your offensive line isn't playing as well, no matter who the running back is, it is going to be harder to open up that run game. And that's going to be a big topic of conversation today. Because it's like you watch the game and you're following it, and like outside of the connection to A.J. Brown that Jalen Hurts had, it's like you weren't sensing anything was really a threat. Not Saquon Barkley, not Jalen Hurts' arm throwing downfield to anybody not named A.J. Brown, or even Jalen Hurts' legs. Because, those are a weapon too. And you didn't feel any threat or heat really from any of that throughout this game. And this kind of statement win, it goes to my ultimate point here of this wasn't just a Bears pulling out a 25-23 victory where it's back and forth and they get some crazy play go their way and they kick a field goal with time expiring, or somebody spins off a defender and goes into the end zone, or somebody gets an insane turnover at the end of the game. The Bears clearly were the better team on that
They
field. They were very much in control of most of that game.
The score does not reflect what a dominant performance it was.
They could have won that by 3 scores.
Yeah. Um, and I know that everybody was, oh, the Bears, it was a fluke, didn't beat anybody. And I know the NFL is all about matchups, and you can't say, well, you beat this team and they beat this team. But name name a team that is a Super Bowl odds favorite. Name one of them.
If I had to name the first one that comes to mind right now, it would be the Rams.
Okay. Let me look at their schedule. Let me start with the Steelers. I mean the Patriots. The Steelers beat the Patriots. Bears beat the Steelers.
Hmm.
Uh, you have the Chiefs. And not very good, but you still until they're out, they're in.
Hmm.
Um, the Bears beat the Cowboys. Cowboys beat the Chiefs. Uh, you you look at the Broncos, and like the Bears have beat somebody, either beat the teams or beat somebody that beat the teams, and um, that's that makes you feel confident that if it came down to it, that um, the Rams, the Eagles beat the Rams, Bears
Hmm.
beat the Eagles, and so it's every single one of these teams. The Colts, the Steelers beat the Colts, Bears beat the
Hmm.
Steelers.
Yes.
The Rams, the Rams, so the 49ers, who did the 49ers? I mean, the Bears will be playing the 49ers, but uh, like it's every team that is in a playoff spot. The Bears have either beat or beat a team that beat them. And it's starting to come together is very early on, even when the Bears were not playing good the first couple of weeks. Ben Johnson said, "We will be playing our best football in December." It's still November.
They were 5-0 in November.
They are, whether they won 9 of their last 10, 8 of the last 9,
Yeah.
uh, they they're playing this well, and Ben Johnson is saying they're not playing their best football yet. We saw that dominant performance with a bad Caleb Williams game. That's where we are.
Hmm.
And
Well, yeah. And it's another interesting thing too is They said, look at the Bears' overall record against winning teams. Well, guess what? The Cowboys are now a winning team.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yep.
Just
I
saying.
mean, it's uh, it's if you could go back in time and make them eke out that Vikings first game is this team is is probably the favorite in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because we're playing with house money right now.
Oh,
The,
absolutely.
the expectations have been exceeded for most people. I mean, they sure exceeded mine. After that Lions loss, I'm like, oh God, it's going to be another 6, 7 win season at best. We look through the schedule, we're like, okay, there's some easy games on there. But in a way, it doesn't change what the team is, in my opinion, but people are now looking at the Bears as more of a, oh, we have expectations for you now. I think with this latest win, regardless of what they are, whether that's making the playoffs, whether that's winning a playoff game, whether that's going to the NFC Championship, whether that's going to the NFC, going to the Super Bowl, whatever, is that all of a sudden people are starting to formulate expectations for this year for a product that is still not complete, for a product that still has flaws, for a product that is not where the ultimate goal is yet. And yet, here we are sitting at 9-3, and we're identifying what's getting better. We're identifying what still needs work. And we're identifying the impact of what some of these players and coaches are making more and more every game. In my opinion, we're going to talk about a lot of the players that made an impact. I mean, we can talk about the running backs. We can talk about the offensive line. We could talk about Nashawn Wright again. We could talk about Kevin Byard. We could talk about Cole Kmet. We could talk about Colson Loveland. But in my opinion, what this game was about, who shined the most, was the head coach. I think this was a statement about what Ben Johnson is.
I mean, I think it's every week that goes on and you see the Lions struggle and the Bears shine, that it makes that more evident.
Yeah, it's the Lions are very talented and they don't have a bad record, but you could definitely tell that they're missing some of what Ben Johnson brought. And obviously, too, it doesn't help when their offensive line is a little bit more banged up. And they thought they were going to get Ragnow back, but it turns out he failed his physical, so that's not going to happen. But yeah, I mean, you definitely see a difference there. And, with Ben Johnson, and we're going to talk a lot about him, but Ben Johnson came in and right off the bat yesterday, he established that he was going to be the better coach on the sidelines in that game. Because you know what? I think he coached circles around Sirianni and Vic Fangio.
Vic,
Absolute circles.
and I think Sirianni is just a mope, but Vic Fangio is is going to be a Hall of Fame head coach, or I mean, a assistant coach. He is
Yes.
like that
Yep.
man. Everywhere he's gone, has he has been stellar.
Look what he did here all those years with the
A-
defense.
And Ben Johnson said, "Bring it," and dominated him.
In the trenches. They're
The place,
dominating in the trenches. What
the
we've been wanting.
the place where the Eagles don't get dominated, they dominated them.
Did you see what Richard Sherman tweeted?
No,
He says, I'd never seen a team dominate this Eagles team like the Bears are. I think he said handle them, dominate, whatever it was. But basically, he took notice of the Bears just dominating them in the trenches and overall. And one of the game balls went to the offensive line, and rightfully so, because we saw it again. We saw the blocks. We saw the lead blockers. We saw them push them back We're moving forward. They're going back. For years, we've been getting pushed back. And yes, pass protection wasn't always great yesterday, but man, that run blocking, you couldn't even ask for better
I
yesterday.
all I could think about is Jason Kelsey sitting there watching this, and a line from The Simpsons. You can pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half.
Poor Ralph.
Uh,
But the big number yesterday, speaking of which, 281. You know what that number is, right?
is that rushing yards?
Uh-huh. 281 rushing yards by the Bears. The Eagles only had 87. With Saquon Barkley, with the great all-time talent Saquon Barkley, and the mobile Jalen Hurts, they rushed for under 100 yards. And Kyle Monangai had 130 and a touchdown. DeAndre Swift, returning to his old stomping grounds, 125, a touchdown. So that was the first time they said where you had two running backs with on the Bears with over 100 yards and a touchdown each since 1985 when the great Walter Payton and Matt Suhey did it. So 40 years ago during that championship season, that's how long it's been since that has been accomplished. They're doing this with DeAndre Swift and a seventh round pick, a seventh round rookie.
Yeah. And at one point, it was really annoying. Is one of the announcers was trying to make an excuse. Like, "Ooh, well, the Eagles were missing Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson is very good. Lane Johnson's like 37 years old, and if one guy makes your whole team crumble, then you're built on a house of cards. The Bears offensive line handled things with their starting left tackle. Wait, on their third left tackle of the season. The one who was the opening game starter is now hurt. The one who replaced him is now hurt. The third string left tackle is in, and they didn't miss a beat.
Did Ryan Poles cook with that pick? Because so far I've been fairly impressed. There's obviously growth, but how can you ask more from a rookie who's just starting at this position?
I mean, this draft class is you know, is doing well.
Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, Ozzie Trapillo. I mean, those guys are standing out every game they're playing. I mean, look at what even Luther Burden did yesterday. He made a few big plays, and
And
look at
Luther Burden
Colston
is
Loveland.
just scratching the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Colston Loveland is just scratching the surface.
Yep.
Ozzie Trapillo is just scratching the surface. Shamar
Yep.
Turner, who was a second round pick, is on injured reserve. So we don't know what he's going to be. Ruben Hippolyte, we don't know yet. He got hurt. Luke Newman was playing really well when he would go in, but he's hurt. And Kyle Monangai, from stupid Rutgers, is kicking so much ass.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Monangai, that guy just runs angry. He's out there, and I know it's cliche because a lot of guys want to do the same thing, but when you watch a guy like him just fight for every single yard, and you're watching third and shorts turn into first and mores when for so long we'd see running backs go backwards on this team. I mean, it's great to see, and especially when you look at how the Bears played yesterday, they could have been up 14-0 early. And they were mixing things in there with run plays and short passing plays and that fourth down run that was very close that obviously was overruled. It was so close, but they were on the verge of at least getting points. I mean, they really could have kicked a field goal and gotten points if they wanted to, but I understand going for it. But I mean, just right off the bat, they controlled the game. And what was good is when you talk about rushing yards and how little the Eagles had, and keep in mind, we didn't have any of our linebackers in there. TJ Edwards didn't come back. Tremaine Edmonds is on injured reserve. Noah Sewell is hurt. You mentioned Ruben Hippolyte. But we've talked about this how many times. When you gain control of a game and you have the lead, you're forcing the other team to throw more. So it's not like Philly could just try to control the clock every time. Like, oh, you were just going to keep pounding Saquon Barkley up the middle or going to the outside. They were trying to catch up the entire time, even when the game was fairly close. And that is just coming out of the gate the way the Bears did was just so huge. And the run game was part of that equation and the offensive line.
I mean, the Bears went into a dime package quite a bit in that game, and Dennis Allen deserves so much credit for where this defense started the season to where they are now, despite the injuries. I mean, Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon were back, but you, uh, Tyreek Stevenson is still out. All of your linebackers are out. You've got defensive linemen out. Big Bill went out with a concussion, and your big money edge rusher is out. Like you're laying with nobodies and still finding a way to get stops. So I
It's
mean,
pretty amazing when you watch guys like the guy they just called off the practice squad, Jackson.
yep. He was one of the defensive players of the week last
Yeah.
week,
Yeah.
coming off, with wearing the green helmet and was like the last line of defense for linebackers. If he was hurt, I don't know what they would have done.
I know. It's amazing that not only can you get that out of guys you call up the practice squad, but it takes both. It takes both to have your guys play like that and for your coaching staff to scheme things appropriately. I mean, you got to give credit to both the player and the coaches with the way they've handled some of these injuries. I mean, we saw, even with like a quote, healthier defense early in the season, get lit up. And now with all these injuries, you're playing a little bit better, which is kind of impressive.
Yeah, it was a great performance. And I do I do want to say that it can't be it can't be denied the Joe Tooney effect.
Oh my God, yeah. Like it's so easy to forget he's on the team, and that's a good thing.
I mean, look at that man. He gets drafted by the Patriots. He's part of that dynasty. And then he leaves. And the Patriots have not won a playoff game since he left. He goes to the Chiefs. He's part of a dynasty there. He leaves the Chiefs. There's a really good shot the Chiefs don't make the playoffs this year. They were in the Super Bowl last year. There's a good shot they do not make the playoffs this year after he leaves.
Hmm.
And immediately the Bears are in second place in all of the NFC. That leadership and playing ability is absolutely, you know, it's a factor.
Oh, it's a huge one. And you see some of the stats tweeted out, like what he doesn't allow and how he just anchors that whole line there. And they've made a number of changes on the offensive line this year. You brought in Jonah Jackson, you brought in Drew Dahlman, you drafted Ozzie Trapillo. So you've made these changes, but I think it's fair to say that the impact of Joe Tooney has impacted the entire line. Because you look to a guy like that, like this is an all pro, this is a future Hall of Famer, this is a guy who's won 4 Super Bowls. He's played in the
He,
big game so many
he has
times.
he has played in the second most number of Super Bowls in NFL history.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm assuming Tom Brady was maybe not. I don't know who. It must be Tom Brady.
Well, Tom Brady, he's won 7, and he's played in 7, 8, 10. Was it 10? Because he won 7, and then he lost to the Giants twice, and then he lost to Philly. 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 Super
Yeah,
Bowls.
it's uh Tom Brady,
Yeah.
and then there's several people tied for second, but Joe Tooney is one of them.
And that, I mean, that was such a no-brainer to make that move.
So I mean, a lot of people beat up the Bears for making that trade and trading for Joe Tooney and then not immediately signing him to an extension. And then now he's got the extension, um, and he has been just awesome. And Joe
Yeah,
Tooney
and
has
it's a
appeared in 6 Super Bowls with 4 rings.
yeah, that's pretty impressive. So he's no stranger to the big game. He's no stranger to big playoff games. He's never been in a situation where the moment is too big for him. And it just even in age, he continues to play well. And even if his physical abilities diminish, the IQ is still there. That doesn't go away. The smarts, the awareness, the technique, the ability to know a playbook, the ability to execute, even with some diminished physical skills, that does not go away. That guy is going to be a future Hall of Famer. And it's exciting to have that on a team. It's so exciting to look at the offensive line and talk about it in a positive way. Even if the pass protection isn't always great, they wanted to fix this run game so bad. And since that bye week, it's been one of the best in football. And frankly, I still think in the future they need another bruiser in there. I think that next year, if you keep DeAndre Swift, because he's what, on a 3-year deal, I believe.
I think so.
So if you have Swift and Nungai, if you add just another bruiser or some type of guy that you could run on the inside, and you say, you know what? Here's our three-headed monster. Here's our bruiser. Here's our guy that could go to the outside and shift, and here's our other bruiser who will keep going up the middle and make big plays in Manungai. That's what I still want to see. But I just didn't think this was going to happen after spending so much time ripping apart this running game, not thinking it was anywhere near good enough. It's made an impact in so many games, including
Just
this one.
just imagine if they had that running back from Notre Dame.
Oh my God, if they get Love on here, oh my God, I would be needing to change my pants many times during the games.
Just absolutely dominating.
That would take some pressure off other guys, that's for sure. I mean, look what I still can't believe the stat. 281 rushing yards yesterday.
And they weren't like buoyed by like 195-yard run or something.
No.
They were all like just pounding it. And I mean, there was a couple like 20-yard runs, but like they were mostly just dominating. It was just grinding them out. You had, that two backs that had over 100 yards rushing, and the average of each guy was ridiculous. Um, so it wasn't fluky by any stretch.
No, it wasn't. And what I loved about the way they were running the ball, and you saw them run, first down, second down at times, it's like, hey, you know what? These good runs, even if you're not going 10 plus yards, you're already setting yourself up for a manageable second or third down. And we've talked about that a lot, where you run on first down, you get 6 or 7. Oh, hey, that's a much more manageable second or third down. Like
Yeah.
that makes all the difference. And the fact that they were able to execute on the short yardage to pick up first downs on a number of occasions, you saw it. You saw Caleb Williams run for first downs. You saw Swift do it. You saw Manungai. And then even on the second Bears touchdown, you had obviously I think it was first and goal. It was first and goal at the 5, and you had the offensive line pushing the Eagles defenders one way, and then Manungai just running the other. So you saw that execution once again with Manungai in the red zone, where not only is he getting there, he's not even getting in the end zone touched. He just waltzed right in. That is a product of your offensive line and scheme.
There was one run for DeAndre Swift, and there was no hole. And there was nothing. And all the offensive linemen sustained their block, and Jonah Jackson ended up squeezing out a hole and Swift just ran through that hole where there was nothing. It was bottled, and then picked up like 7 yards. It was it was awesome because Jonah Jackson could have just given up and the play ended, and he kept battling and battling and battling and got just, like a foot of space, and Swift just went in and got a big pickup.
Joniak and Thayer were loving that on the radio. I could tell you that. And they're like, it looked dead. It looked dead. And then boom, look what happened.
Monungai had a 6 yards per average with 130 yards rushing. Swift had 125 yards and a 7 yard per carry average.
That's pretty good. Remember, DeAndre Swift last year, his average yards per gain was under 4. It was like 3.8, 3.9.
It, so um, we just are seeing a transformation, and Ben Johnson wanted to establish an identity. And I think we all thought it was going to be this crazy downfield passing game. And it's not. He is establishing a running game.
Yeah, he is. It's you pound that rock, no block, no rock. He started it right off the bat. And I think that when you look at the way the Bears have been able to execute that, it makes you think that this is a complicated offense. You're trying to teach a quarterback this complicated offense. It makes you think that part of developing Caleb Williams is this establishment of the run, making it easier on him. Like, I think that's got to be a factor here.
Is once Caleb is able to just like feel this game slow down and hit some of those targets in stride regularly, this offense is going to just be an explosion. It's going to be greatest show on turf level.
Yeah, I mean, like, it wasn't a great game for Caleb overall.
And to be fair, the wind was howling.
It was.
Is we saw Jalen Hurts trying to throw, and it just wasn't working. And
Right,
the
right.
big plays they got, that first touchdown where it looked like Nashawn Wright was going to intercept it and ended up being a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's an OPI. I mean, go back and watch it. It's OPI. He pushed him out of the way, and he got called for one. And it's AJ Brown is an OPI machine that they don't call it. But that was an OPI. And I know Eagles fans are losing their mind on that Ogbandomiga, that where he was covering Devontae, and there that's or defensive pass interference. He had his head around and he put his arm out to make a play. And if there was some contact, but he was making a play on the ball with his head turned around.
Joniak and Thayer were like, please no flag, please no flag, please no flag. Okay. And that's exactly how they described it.
I think the NFL needs to crack down on that because the league is using the DPI as a weapon. They're intentionally underthrowing balls and trying to just get the flag. And it's kind of bullshit. And that one was not, I don't think that one was intentional. I think it was just an underthrown ball. Got caught in the wind, but the player turned his head around and got his arm out to make a play and made the play. So if there was some contact, that happens. If there's contact and both guys are going for the ball, the defensive player has just as much of a right to go for the ball as the other one. It's just you can't go through the guy, and you have to be making a play. And he had his head around, and that's the key.
Right.
Head around. Go back and watch. Head around.
And that's coaching helps coach that up.
And that's our third string linebacker on a wide receiver.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. It just going back to Caleb really quick is I think there were multiple reasons why the passing game early wasn't working. One, Caleb missed a few throws. Two, you mentioned the wind. Three, there were a few slips. Few guys, DJ Moore and I think Luther Burden slipped on pretty good balls. And the one DJ Moore slipped would have put the Bears in field goal position. And that was the point of the game The only point of the game where I didn't like from Ben Johnson, I thought that they were way too conservative with that final drive because the Eagles were getting the ball back in the second half and you had all three timeouts. And I didn't really see much of a sense of urgency. So you kind of forced yourself to try to throw deep downfield just to get into scoring where I feel like instead of running the ball or making the short plays and not calling the timeouts, you could have tried easier to at least get to midfield and set yourself up to at least have a little time, set yourself up to at least get some points. But that was really the only part I didn't like. But to Caleb's credit, looked better in the fourth quarter. And that pass to Cole Kmet, chef's kiss. That touchdown
That
pass.
touchdown was that's what we need to see when he's running out, rolling out. We need to see him look downfield to make those plays.
Mm-hmm.
And he initially looked underneath, then looked up and went, "Oh, hey." And he made an absolutely beautiful throw that nobody could have intercepted. It was either going to be incomplete or touchdown.
Yep.
And it was a touchdown.
Yep. Yeah, because he had DeAndre Swift open and he would have probably been able to get a first down towards the sideline. But yeah, he went for the big play and he got it. And it was perfect. It's because I think my big thing with Caleb is I want to see him be more consistent with those touch throws where you're not. I feel much better when he's slinging the rock, he's slinging line drives and he's slinging bullets. Like he's very accurate with those. It's putting the touch on some of those balls where you want to see the more accurate throws. And that was one of them. And again, you mentioned the bad weather. It was a perfect touch in that howling wind. So it was wonderful to see that. He closed the game on a good note, which he's done in many games before. So that's what you really like to see. But outside of an inconsistent passing game, the Bears defense and the offense on the ground really, really stepped up and thrived throughout most of this game. But I think one of the biggest plays we've yet to talk about, and you probably know where I'm going with this, it
The
once again
interception.
not the interception, not the Byard interception or the Caleb interception. It was the tush push strip fumble by
Okay,
Nation Wright.
that was huge. And somebody else punched it out, and Nashon was trying to pry it, and somebody just came in, and it was a tag team effort because he's prying it, and I don't think he would have got it out on his own. And the punch came in, and I don't think that would have got on his own. I think prying it away from Hurt's chest, and then somebody just punching it, ball comes right out, and uh, the Bears did so well against the tush push. I saw a ton of Eagles fans online calling for them to stop using it.
Uh-huh.
They
Although, to be frank, it stopped working over the past few weeks, but they're really vocal about it now.
it's and I honestly, like, I don't care about the advantage or whatever. It needs to be uh banned because you can't officiate it. It's so hard to figure out where the ball is, or who, if somebody's offsides, if the ball is fumbled. And there's been several misses this year where it's like they can't officiate it. It becomes a disadvantage, with the league because they can't officiate it. But you know, you live by it and you die by it. And I know people were like, "Oh, well, the momentum was stopped." And you're like, no, they let that play go. They have for years. And if you're going to let that play go, good, bad, or ugly, it's got to go. And
Yeah,
they
don't
lost.
change your standards now just because it didn't work.
It did not work, and that was a huge turning point there.
The Eagles had all the momentum back because the Bears had a lead. They couldn't add on. The Eagles got a touchdown. Thankfully, Jake Elliott missed that extra point. But then Caleb throws the interception on the screen pass. That was just read like a book. And then
I
they're
mean,
driving.
it was read like a book. Oh, let's get back to the interception, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, the momentum was shifting all towards the Eagles, and then boom. And then they took full advantage of that play and they scored and they retook control of the game. That was huge. Anyway, the interception, you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, they did read it, but if Caleb just puts a little finesse on that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they read it. It's still uh they're still going to pick up a good chunk of yards on that.
No,
And
you're right. It was definitely underthrown.
he he just flung it, and the guy made a good play on it. He jumped up, tipped it, and then caught it. And not a lot of defensive linemen can do that. And but had if you put a little air under it, there's no way that he gets that. And the player puts himself out of the play trying to make the interception, jumping up, trying to jump straight up to knock it down, misses, completely out of the play. And you've got to be able to put a little touch on that. And that's on Caleb.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
And
It
we
was
saw later in the game when there was a screen that looked like it wasn't going to go anywhere, and he just threw it right to the feet and
Yep.
intentionally got it, not put it in harm's way. And he learned. He learned quickly on that one.
Yeah, and you know that Ben Johnson is going to talk about that with him. And yeah, no, I mean, you're definitely right. It was definitely underthrown. They saw it coming. They made a good play. And luckily, they were able to counter with that tush push fumble, and it didn't end up mattering because it really could have mattered. That could have made a huge, huge difference there. So the fact that we're seeing this team, even when they make big, costly looking mistakes, the fact that they're able to rebound and able to come back from that and change the momentum back in their favor. We've seen them do that several times this year. Past Bears teams would have easily crumbled there.
So head to head here, are we still saying it was a stupid decision to not draft Jalen Carter and instead trade and get Darnell Wright and a fourth round draft pick?
I have given plenty of crap to Ryan Poles. One thing I'll never give him crap for is getting Darnell Wright.
Every week we're seeing, upon rewatch, we're seeing another play where you go, damn, we missed that. It was the one where the first round pick of the Bengals, he was just beating him like a rented mule and driving him all the way across the field and then pancaking him like he was young manning him.
Yeah.
He was little brothering him.
Yep.
And then last week against the Steelers, it was TJ Watt where there was nobody and he was there and he helped out and just leveled TJ Watt. I mean,
yeah.
That
was
man
impressive.
is a strong man. He's a strong man.
He's probably having his best season, right?
Oh, by far. I mean, we've always seen the upside, but you're just like, man, when is he going to put it together? Even if he never put it together, you're like, he's still like a starting caliber right tackle and just maybe not a number 10 worthy pick. But now he's putting up, this tape where you're just like, good God, this guy is good. Like, this might be blasphemous to say. He might be better than Penei Sewell right now.
Ooh.
I'm not even exaggerating.
Ooh.
Like, and that's not a knock on Penei Sewell. That is a compliment to Darnell Wright.
As we speak, Sean Hotman is leaking meatball sauce.
It's coming out of my ears and eyes and nose.
But I mean, he's having a Pro Bowl caliber season and then some. And I mean, I remember his rookie year in 23, he looked good. Last year, we were like, okay, he's kind of disappointing. But here in Ben Johnson's offense with the coaches he's working with, it's like, man, something is really, really clicking. And when you watch those highlights of him bodying people, like you said, like these aren't just scrubs. Like he's bodying like top caliber dudes.
TJ Watt is going to go into Canton. He's going to go into Canton, and he just leveled him. Like it was like that scene where in the Avengers where Loki's trying to talk to the Hulk and the Hulk just smashes him. Like that's really what he's doing to Hall of Fame level dudes, like
Yeah.
high caliber players, just manhandling them.
Yep. Yep.
Uh,
It's great to see.
yeah, and Trapillo has been playing really well. And I know they give him help, but they're not out there just like, double teaming people. He's on an island for a lot of times. They
Hmm.
have a lot of trust. They were doing the same thing to Theo Benedette. Roshar has been doing a miracle job here, and you've got like better quality players and an offensive line coach who just is getting it and putting it together. And
Yep.
the person who's loving this the most is Olin Kreutz.
Yes. Yes.
He is loving this.
You want to talk about a pig in shit?
That he like if you look up pig and shit on Urban Dictionary, it's Olin Kreutz watching yesterday's game.
Ha 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 ha. That is so true.
I and the funny part is like uh you know, Drew Dahlman hasn't been that good at pass blocking. Like he olays a lot of people, turnstiles them, and but on the runs, whew, we're seeing that guy just block the shit out of people. I mean,
Hmm.
he was one on one with Jordan Davis, who's might be one of the biggest humans in the NFL, and just was moving him out of the way.
Yeah, making it look easy.
It's unreal. Like the I cannot talk about this enough is the offensive line's ability to run block yesterday was out of this world. And the wide receivers and tight ends as well. Just everybody came in there with their lunch pails, ready to do blue collar work. And they did.
On the road, on the Super Bowl champs turf. When you look at this game, I mentioned before how like it wasn't one of those crazy patented 2025 Bears wins. And it wasn't like, oh, this game was at Soldier Field and there was really, really crappy weather and the Bears just kind of got the bounces to go their way and they got made the one big stop. It's like, no, they went in and dominated many facets of the game. And a lot of people didn't expect it. I went into this game thinking, okay, we're 8-3. We can afford to lose this game and still be in solid shape. And they go in and they go to 9-3. It was such a great feeling. This was one of the biggest Bears wins in years. Like we're covering one of the biggest wins the Bears have had ever since you and I have been doing this show for what, almost 8 seasons now.
Yeah. This was a huge win. And you're right. Is everybody outside of Chicago, even inside Chicago, well, they're winning, but they're not beating anybody good. And they're eking it out in the last second. And they're going to regress to the mean because look at all the teams like last year's Vikings where they won a lot of games and they were all those one score games and now they've regressed back to the mean and look at how bad they are. And the Bears, this is going to happen to. And then they go out against the defending Super Bowl champions on the road, primetime game, and manhandle them in their
Yeah.
most. I mean, this was their most decisive win of the season.
Yes.
Either this or the Saints.
Well,
This might have
the
been worse than the Saints.
Cowboys, the
Oh,
Cowboys
okay, you're
was
right. You're right, Cowboys. That,
you could
this,
call it their most decisive road win, that's for sure.
yeah, and just statement win. I can't wait for on Monday, Tuesday when all those people update their rankings and you see the Bears fly up the boards.
Hmm. Yeah, and the job's not done because I think an even bigger challenge awaits next week.
I mean, I think a lot of times, and you'll never be able to tell me otherwise. The Bears have always crumbled at the idea of playing the Packers.
Hmm.
It's not even about the talent. They just fold. It's like facing your demons and they can't and they fold. And they might not win, but I don't think they're going to fold. And we saw them fold with, you know, bad, bad Jay Cutler interceptions, or, Justin Fields, I just not being able to score any points. Was that one like 10-3 they lost
Yeah.
on opening? Like, you can't score a single point, and uh, it's just abysmal how they play. And there's always some sort of bad issue where the quarterback throws like multiple interceptions in a game, and they laugh and laugh because it's even if the Bears are good, they're bad against the Packers. Even if they lose, the Bears are going to come out there and be playing hard, and
Yes.
they're not going to be an embarrassment. And the Packers are going to have to play their ass off to win that game.
Yeah, because I mean, like the Packers are interesting. There was a time a few weeks where I'm like, they don't look that great, but they're starting to look. They looked
Because
pretty
it's
darn.
Toyota-thon season.
Yeah, they're looking. They looked pretty good on Thanksgiving, and I think Jordan Love might be better than we give him credit for. I'm not saying he's Aaron Rodgers, but he can do some things, and that defense is really damn good. Really, really good. Micah Parsons is playing like Micah Parsons again, and that's kind of scary.
They need a plan for Micah Parsons.
Yeah, that's a guy that can just wreck you one on one, no matter what you're doing. Even if you double team him, it's hard.
I wonder if they're just going to run at him because he's not big. He's not a big man. Can you imagine like they run at him and you see Darnell Wright pull, and Darnell Wright is going to maul him 9 out of 10 times because he's just a bigger, stronger man.
Hmm.
And you beat the shit out of him. Uh, that might be the way to go, is just beat the shit out of him and out physical him. Don't give him a chance to be a pure pass rusher. Run at him.
Could very well be the plan. I mean,
I mean, it was harder when they had Kenny Clark in his prime because it's hard. That guy just didn't move.
right.
And but you know, Micah Parsons is like, I mean, he is a very strong man, and I'm not knocking him at all, but he's an outside linebacker, uh, and um, like what is he? He's 6'3", 250. It's like that's that's not a giant man.
Pretty big compared to me, but yes, I get what in perspective.
Well, I mean, when you look at uh, Darnell Wright is 6'5", 325. So 75 pounds, and I guarantee Darnell Wright is a stronger man. And just run at him. Get a full head of steam and just give him the the Shamar Stewart treatment and just pancake the shit out of him and keep doing that. And it makes it a lot harder to just pin his ears back and rush the passer. And Micah Parsons is incredible. Not taking anything away, but he doesn't have the size and build of Myles Garrett, who's built like just a brick wall.
Myles Garrett might go down as one of the best pass rushers of all time. And,
And,
I mean, honestly, Micah Parsons could too, but what Myles Garrett is doing is just not human right now.
uh like Myles Garrett is like 280 pounds. Like, so he's just a much bigger man than uh than Micah Parsons. I'm not
He's a
talking about their
freak.
ability. It's just it's a lot harder to just bully him and beat up on him because he's huge. He's the size of an offensive lineman.
Right.
And Micah Parsons is the size of a linebacker. And use that. I mean, Micah Parsons is fast. You just run at him, beat him up. Like, it takes the edge off of him, pinning his ears back. Um, so that's you've got to have a plan. If you don't go in there and plan what you're going to do to Micah Parsons, and you just let him be Micah Parsons,
You're gonna
It,
have a long day.
it's going to be a long day. We saw what a long day it was going against Max Crosby.
Yep.
And you better be prepared because, shortly after that, you got to go against Miles Garrett.
Yep. Yeah, that's gonna be really scary.
And Miles, I mean, in my lifetime, I've seen some incredible edge rushers. And Lawrence Taylor is probably the greatest one I've ever seen. And Miles Garrett is right there with him.
Yeah. Because isn't he on pace to break his single season record right now?
He had 12 in a 3 game stretch.
Yeah, that doesn't even seem possible.
It's unreal. Um, let's see.
That might be a real game to run the ball because if that's at Soldier Field in the cold, that Cleveland game,
I'm sorry, he's got 13 in his last 4 games.
eh, that that's video game stuff.
Like it's not a fair thing. He's got 18 sacks in how many games do they have? Ba-ba-ba-ba.
What'd you say his total was?
He's got 18 sacks
Wow.
in 11 games.
Wow. 18 sacks in 11 games.
He's on pace for 28 sacks.
Again, that sounds like something you would do in Madden, not in real NFL football. Yeah, I am not looking forward to facing that. That is going to be scary.
22 and a half is the record.
That's Lawrence Taylor, right?
Oh no, Michael Strahan.
Michael Strahan, that's right. He broke because he sacked Favre, right? In that
Yeah, well, Favre just
record-breaking.
gave up.
When Favre just laid down, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna lie
And
down."
then TJ Watt tied it in 2021.
Yeah.
I don't see how he doesn't break that because if you just he had 5 sacks against the Saints or in the Patriots. 5 sacks. If he has another game like he had 4 against Baltimore, if he puts one more game like the Patriots, he breaks the record in 12 games.
Wow. 5 sacks in a game. It doesn't matter who you're playing. That's unreal.
What's insane is he went 3 weeks in a 3 weeks in a row without a sack and a 4 game stretch where he only had a half sack total and he might break the record.
Wow.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Imagine if we had Miles Garrett.
I know. Instead, we traded for the wrong edge rusher from Cleveland.
Yeah. Which, let's be real, they weren't trading him, but didn't he demand a trade at one point?
Yeah, and then they paid him a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Um, they're playing the Titans in 2 weeks,
Oh boy.
and they're playing the Bengals the last game of the season. He can break the record on either one of those.
Oh,
'Cause
Joe Burrow, you see what Joe Burrow Bengals did the other day on
They
Thanksgiving?
but he can't run. He's
No,
got
no,
a
he
special
can't.
thing in his because his foot is still injured. Like he looked great. Bengals beat up on the Ravens, but he can't move.
No, that's true.
Um, you got the 49ers. You got the Bears. They got the Bills. What did Josh Allen against what the Texans did to him?
Yeah. I was gonna say they sacked him how many times? A lot.
I think 6, 7. No, it was 8. How many sacks did they have? It was a lot. It was a whole lot of sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm rooting for Miles Garrett too because
Just not against us.
not against us. I want to see him have both the single season sack record and the record for taking his helmet off and hitting somebody in the head with it.
Yeah.
No, taking the guy's helmet off and hitting him with it.
Give me that.
Stupid Mason Rudolph. Uh, but yeah, I mean, everything with this Bears game was incredible. And every week we keep talking about looking at the Bears schedule and looking ahead and saying, you know, where are they going to find another win? Where are they going to find another win? And every week we say that and they find another win. Um,
Did you hear that? You hear me knocking on wood?
yeah, I mean, uh,
Sean.
I'm not predicting the future. I'm just saying is that's what's happened. We after the Giants, we went, okay, now they've done the easy part. They lost to the Vikings. Where are they going to get these wins? They beat the Vikings. Then we're like, okay, now where are they going to get these wins? Steelers are a team that it's good. They beat the Steelers. And we're like, okay, now we probably need bare minimum two more wins. Like, where are we going to get it? Probably, the Browns is your most likely because they're not a good team, but you got the Packers twice and the Eagles and the
The
49ers and the
Lions.
Lions who
Yep.
kicked the ever-loving shit out of you.
Hmm.
Uh, and you're like, okay, well, where do we find these multiple wins? Then they beat the Eagles. You're like, okay, now they're at 9 wins. Ah, I think 10 wins might get them in the playoffs.
You think it's 10 or is it 11? I
I
almost am tempted to say 11.
Let's look at the NFL playoff picture. Um, that's the AFC. I want the NFC. I don't care about the AFC right now. So right now, Rams are winning their division, and the Seahawks are in second and breathing down their neck. So let's see. You're right. They might need 11. Well, let's see. Who's outside looking in? They just have to beat these teams. So the Giants are eliminated. The Saints will get eliminated this week. Commanders will be eliminated. Cardinals will be eliminated. Vikings, Falcons. So the three teams that are outside looking in are the Panthers at 6-6, the Cowboys 6-5-1, and the Lions at 7-5. So to get to 11 wins, so they're 12, they would need to go 4-1 in their last five
For 12, yeah.
or 11 wins. The Lions. The Lions are 7-5.
Oh, you're talking about sorry, I thought you were, never mind. Talking about the
So
Lions. I thought you were
yeah,
talking about
they're
someone else.
12. So they got 5 games left. So to get to 11 wins, they'd have to go 4-1. Um, and what's the Lions' schedule?
Well, I know they play the Bears. Don't they play
They play the
the
Cowboys.
Cowboys? Yeah.
They play the Rams, the
That'll be a
Steelers.
huge game.
So looking at their schedule, they have to go 4-1 in this stretch.
Yep.
Cowboys, Rams, Steelers, Vikings, Bears.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's some big games in there. Obviously, the Steelers are going to be fighting for their playoff life. Although, aren't they tied? Because the Baltimore lost, so that helps them out quite a bit. They still want to win those games, though. The Cowboys are fighting for their life, and they're playing better. That'll be an interesting game. And obviously, that Week 18 game at Soldier Field could be a big one.
The Steelers are back in first place in the division.
Yeah, yeah, right. Because the Baltimore lost, but that's going to be a back and forth battle.
Yeah, it is. I think the Ravens are still a better team.
I think so too. Although I gotta say, even in some of the wins, I look at Baltimore's offense, I'm like, it's not that great. But I do agree that I think that they're the better team.
had we had our full defensive squad, that would have been a different game.
I like to think so. Although I still don't think the offense was good enough.
No, they were not. Um, so
That's
yeah,
not a game I play a lot of what ifs. You straight up didn't play well enough and you lost.
facts.
The
Facts.
only game you could play what ifs is the Vikings game in week one. The Lions loss, the loss to the Ravens, you're like, you know what? You got beat. Straight up beat.
But I think 10 wins gets them in as a wild card.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think it's 10 or 11.
I still think it's 10 because you just got to look at who, like, they would be the worst. They would be the worst team in record wise in the NFC uh, bracket at 10 wins. But the like I said is the who are the teams that were these are the two most likely. The Panthers, they're not good. They're 6-6. So they're not running the table. So I don't think they're in. Um, so it's the Cowboys and the Lions,
The Cowboys, are they 6-5-1?
6-5-1.
Yeah, that
So
tie.
and yeah, so that tie. So they would have to get to they would have to win four of their last five as well. So right off the bat, one of those teams is losing because they're playing each other.
Unless they tie.
Unless they tie, but still that's good for the Bears.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Uh so it's you just have to have a better record than the Lions and the Cowboys. And like the the Lions, we already see what the gauntlet they have. The Cowboys I think they have an easier schedule. Um, they're they've got the Lions, the Vikings, the Chargers, the Commanders, and the Giants. So there's a good chance that they could win four of their last five.
Hmm.
So they're the more threat, I think. But they've got that half loss. So we're looking. So 10-3, they would have to win. So 11, I think 11 puts you ahead of them no matter what. Two wins
Yeah.
puts you ahead. One is probably a good chance that you still eke them out. Um, I would like two more, at least two more wins. That's what I would like.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
But game by game here. It's game by
Yep.
game. It's like I don't want to look at the Browns.
No, you got to think about Green Bay first.
Yeah, it is Green Bay first. Um, and uh, oh man, where are we going? So it's Green Bay in Lambeau, which I think is good. I would rather play them in Lambeau first
Yeah, that's fair.
because that way you get a sense of what they look like, what they're trying to do against you, and if they win, you're like, okay, they won their home, so now we know how they're going to play us and what we didn't do well and what we did do well. So if when we play them at home, it'll be a better matchup. And if you happen to steal it, then you're playing house money because you're going the next one in your home stadium.
Right.
So I mean the Packers have been playing tough. But they seem to play to the level of their opponent.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, you look at the Carolina game and you look at the Browns game, even you look at the Cowboys game back when they played them.
Yeah, I mean the Cowboys, there was a 40-40 tie. They lost to the Browns. They didn't play that well against the Commanders.
Lost to the Panthers.
Yeah. Um, and they barely eked by the Cardinals with a backup quarterback.
Hmm. They squeaked, well, I shouldn't say squeaked by, but they were battling toe to toe with the Giants for much of the game, and then they kind of pulled away. But though, to be fair, the Giants have been battling a lot of teams very closely until the end.
Yeah, it's I mean, they lost to the Eagles and they couldn't score at all against the Eagles. And the Bears moved the ball, really
That was
at
such a
will.
weird game. Neither
Um,
team could do shit offensively that one.
and the Packers had to do everything they could to beat the Giants with a backup quarterback. I mean, the Bears had to struggle too, uh, but then they manhandled the Vikings and then manhandled the Lions. So it is just a completely weird team.
Yep, we'll see. It's just the one thing still remains, and that's weariness of playing a notable game in Green Bay because we've have one notable win against them in like 15 years.
Well, eventually the pendulum's got to swing back.
That's what I keep telling myself.
So uh, it both teams are going to have a longer time off because the Packers played on Thanksgiving and Bears played on Black Friday,
Hmm.
and then the game is going to be an afternoon game.
Yep.
So uh, the Bears got time, and man, would it be nice to get TJ Edwards back.
Yeah, that would be huge. And luckily you have a little extra rest to help get that potentially.
Um, so I would assume that they're going to try to do a similar game plan to what they did against the Eagles, against the Packers, is just pound the ball.
Yep.
Because if they can establish the run, man, it's gonna it's gonna be a whole different ball game.
Yep.
Because, look at the time of possession the Bears had the ball against the Eagles.
Oh yeah, it was almost double, right?
It was ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous.
You could
And
judge by all the boos.
there was a lot of boos. That my favorite shot. There's a guy just screaming boo and holding his thumb upside down. Uh, I'm sure you've seen the picture. There's a guy, I forget what baseball game it was, but he's sitting like behind like home plate
Oh
and he's
yeah,
just
he's just got
looking
that
angry
thumb
and
down.
just
Yep.
thumb down.
Yeah, he's not doing anything. He's just still. I think that was a Yankees game.
Oh my God. That is one of the most iconic pictures. I hope that picture makes it into Cooperstown one day.
It
Just
deserves it.
angry fan.
Yeah, you see that GIF everywhere. It's great.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, I can't talk enough about how the Bears held up on defense and the big, the big benefit of getting Jalen Johnson back, um,
And Kyler Gordon.
and Kyler Gordon. And you saw Kevin Byard with another awesome interception. Uh, and it just Nashawn Wright playing out of his ass. That dude he's about to build generational wealth with the season he's having.
3 straight games with him having a huge takeaway. 3 straight games. You had the one at the end of the first half of the Vikings game. You had the one on the first drive for the Steelers, that amazing pick towards the sideline, and then the tush push fumble. I mean, it was 3 straight games of crucial big takeaways from him. You gotta love it. This was a guy who was cut from the practice squad of Minnesota not long ago.
Yep. And the Bears have done wonder for his career. Like he is just thriving. And you makes you wonder, do they consider moving Tyreek Stevenson and re-signing Nashawn Wright?
I don't know. I don't know. Don't take this the wrong way, but is this a 1 year thing or is this a trend?
I don't know. I have a feeling. And please, Nashawn Wright, if you're listening, this is not meant to be disrespect. I think the scheme and the coaching staff are helping him be this guy because there's a lot of times where you're just like, he's out of place in coverage.
Right.
His length and his tenacity are making plays. Um, but I think he's buoyed. Yeah, I think he's one of those ones where he goes and signs a big contract somewhere and he doesn't even make that contract.
And see, and that's what I kind of want to avoid because I really do think that when it comes to a lot of these positions in football, you don't overpay, you just draft somebody else or you
I mean,
sign somebody else for cheaper.
Zoff Frazier, the guy that they drafted in like the sixth round, is is a guy that's kind of like Nishan Wright.
Hmm.
Um, and I hope whatever it is that the personal reason that he's out for the season gets resolved because I wonder if they could make him into the next Nishan Wright.
Maybe, maybe. I really love what Nishan Wright is doing. I don't want to take anything away from him. I just always get a little weary when somebody has a big year and he's going to make big money, and just more often than not, we don't see that contract hold up.
You
I
know what
just
though?
want to avoid that.
It's one of those ones where I think if he signed here, you would see good play. It's if he goes to somebody else's system, they're
That
just
could
going
be.
and there's a lot of times where a guy is just a system guy and you don't see him thrive in a different system or a different coaching staff. And I think he might be one of those guys. Like Jalen Johnson is going to be a star anywhere.
Right,
There's
right.
guys that are just they're going to transcend. Like Micah Parsons, it doesn't matter what defense you're putting him in. Miles Garrett doesn't matter what defense you're putting him in. But then
Khalil Mack. Yeah,
there's other guys where like, oh hey, they're playing really well, but it's really the system they're in is they're built for it.
right. No, totally agree. Totally agree.
And I think that's where Nishan Wright kind of lives.
Yeah, in that Dennis Allen system, he's utilized to maximize his production. They saw something in him when they picked him off the after he got cut by the Vikings. Like they saw something in there.
Right. Um, and he has performed beyond and you know what it is like if you look at the kind of cornerbacks that Ryan Poles likes, he likes length. And Nishan Wright is what, 6'4", 6'5"? He's
Yeah,
huge.
yeah.
For a cornerback, he's huge.
Well, look at some of the plays he's made where he's able to use that length to get a turnover. I mean, he did it against the Vikings and he did it against the Steelers.
Um, and Za Frazier is another one. He's 6'3". So I that's why I think that's the kind of guy that they're going to go for and be able to utilize that that size
Right.
because it's that length that really makes it harder to throw over somebody. And a lot of the times in the NFL, you're looking at the tight windows they're hitting, and you take away some of that with your length. It's you get an arm in there. You got to throw it over somebody that's 4 or 5 inches taller than most other guys, and suddenly you're like, oh shit, that's that was the window. That was the window. That 4 or 5, um, inches.
Yep. Very true.
Uh,
You know who I
so,
kind of want to bring back though is CJ Gardner Johnson.
oh yeah, he's like, I hope he realizes that, you know, there's a good possibility that if the Bears hadn't signed him, that he might not have another job in the NFL. Not talent wise, just burn bridges. And there's a reason that people didn't want to sign him. And the Bears had no choice. He was the best option on the market. They brought him in, familiarity with Dennis Allen, and he's he has been an awesome teammate. We saw that when he came to against the Steelers. He came to the aid of Caleb Williams when he got hit out of
Yep.
bounds. Is the first one there was C.J. Gardner Johnson right
Yep.
there defending his quarterback. He has been, he says some silly stuff in interviews, but nothing detrimental. And you haven't seen other teams trying to fight him yet. I think he realizes that he's like, yeah, this is my shot. This is where I'm at. And it'd be nice for him to come back.
Yeah, and I mean, and clearly, I think he's gelling well with his teammates.
Yeah.
He's clearly, I think, in my opinion, a very positive part of that locker room, along with other guys like Kevin Byard is obviously big in there among plenty of other people. But, he brought that winner's attitude that you've wanted to have. And to your point, he knew coming off the couch, he's like, yeah, this is my moment to shine. So I do think he realized that he had to give everything he could in the best way he could.
Um, so I mean, this team has overachieved on defense, and they're starting to hit their stride on offense.
Yeah. Um, there's one huge thing we got to talk about.
Go
Our
for it.
coach did not have a shirt on. And that one Chicago more free hot dogs from Wiener Circle. I just, here's the crazy thing. 1 year ago during the game was the infamous timeout debacle on Thanksgiving in Detroit. 1 year ago, right now, and about the same time of day, too, right at this moment, you and I were on this podcast talking about the firing of Matt Eberflus,
Matt Eberflus, uh, was fired on Black Friday last year.
which was the 29th of November.
Yep.
Today's the 29th of November.
Yep.
It was the
And
next day after that debacle.
and I remember, so on Black Friday, I collect records, and it was records Black Friday record store day, and I was standing in line waiting to go, and I'm I'm listening on sports radio, going, are they gonna fire him? Are they gonna fire him? I'm checking tweets. I'm refreshing everything. Are they gonna fire him? And it was a weird day because they didn't just come in and fire him. Like
The
they had
press
the
conference.
press conference, and it got delayed. And you're like, what the hell's going on?
When it was getting delayed, I'm like, "Oh, is that it? Is that it?" And then he came on, and gave the press conference. I'm going to be coaching next week in San Francisco. And then what was it? An hour or so later,
Yeah. Yep. And so you went from in 1 year firing your head coach for the first time, firing a coach in season in the history of one of the first franchises in the NFL. The first time you ever fired a coach in season. 1 year later, you you are tied for the most number of wins in the NFC and steamrolled the NFC champ or the NFL champions, the Super Bowl champions. You steamrolled them in their home stadium, and that that is 1 year difference.
and there is your coach ripping his shirt off, everybody going crazy. And you saw right up by him, if you look at some of the video and the photos, was Jalen Johnson. And why is that important? Because it was reported that after the Thanksgiving game last year in the locker room, Jalen Johnson had some very choice words for Matt Eberflus. And that was when it was basically they're not going to play for Matt Eberflus anymore. They're done. They're absolutely done. The captain has completely lost control of his ship. It was already sinking and sputtering, but there was no coming back from that. And that exactly 1 year later, he's jumping up and down with his shirtless coach. Like, I mean, it's the biggest 180 you can think of right now. The fact that exactly 1 year ago, right now, we were thinking, okay, so Thomas Brown is going to be our interim coach. We're going to see what he has. Who are we going to get? I want Ben Johnson, but are the Bears going to be doing that? Are we going to have to settle for Mike McCarthy? Or are we going to go in some other weird direction? Are we going to hire another coordinator where they were kind of on the hot market, but not really? Are we going to explore something like a college coach somewhere? Like, what were we going to do? That it was so uncertain. And I mean, yesterday we felt good about Ben Johnson throughout this season, but I don't think we felt as good about Ben Johnson being our head coach than yesterday.
I was telling Gary that it could not have worked out more perfectly for the Patriots and the Bears.
Yeah.
Both players or both teams got the coach that they needed.
Yes.
And Mike Vrabel has been just revitalizing that Patriots team.
Yeah, the long-suffering Patriots.
But he has turned that franchise around, absolutely turned it around.
Big time. Big time.
And Ben Johnson has absolutely done the same thing for the Chicago Bears. And if it wasn't already abundantly clear, Ben Johnson has made a statement that this is his organization.
Correct.
There is,
Correct.
it is, if he is going to tell Ryan Poles what's what, this is his organization.
Ryan Poles even admitted it. Remember the trade deadline when, Ryan Poles was ready to maybe try something and Ben Johnson was like, hold up, Chief. Says a lot.
Yeah. Is he has got this organization and he's wrestled it away. And you even you even see Kevin Warren when he little boys Ryan Poles during the process and he sits on the sideline and watches Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson is running this organization.
Yep. Yep. And I think Kevin Warren realizes that making that kind of move is exactly what they needed to do. Say what you will about Kevin Warren, he did not want to come in here and be a loser.
No, as he shouldn't have. And they're selling. I mean, when's the last time you heard anything from Ding Dong George?
The last time I saw of him, he was wooing in the tunnel after the Bengals game.
Yep, that's all I want to hear from him is a
Yeah.
woo. I don't want to hear him speak. I don't want a press conference. Just sit back and count your money and drive your Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, and frankly, I don't want to hear about Kevin Warren unless he's talking about building the new stadium.
Yeah, it's end of year press conference after the Super Bowl. I want him to come out. When everybody's doing their speeches, I want him to come out and go, the stadium, here's the stadium plans. All right, I'm out. That's it.
Praise the Lord and praise the cranes in the sky.
Get the cranes in the sky.
uh, it was a little weird when they gave him a game ball for his birthday. I don't know. I thought that was a little weird. Did you see that?
Too. I did too. You know what though is Ben Johnson is not a stupid man.
Clearly
And
not.
when he gives those game balls out, it's not willy-nilly. There's a reason why he does things. And how many has Caleb gotten this year? I believe just one.
One or two.
And there's a reason. He is holding his quarterback at a high standard.
Mm-hmm.
He is holding that quarterback at a very, very high standard. And he didn't give a game ball to the running backs yesterday. He gave that game ball to the offensive line.
To the offensive line. And he finally gave one to Nashawn Wright, who could have easily gotten one the past few weeks.
It's those guys go, if I want one, I've got to go out and absolutely earn it. Not a cheapie. You go out there and you earn that.
Mm-hmm.
And he is holding that as, it's a trophy. It's not a participation trophy. It is a you better bust your ass trophy.
Right.
And those guys are trying for it. And we finally had the revenge game that went our way. The DeAndre Swift revenge game.
Yes, exactly. When he's running for over 100 yards and a touchdown, and him and CJ Gardner-Johnson are running off the field in celebration, after all the Philly fans have long since filed out. I mean, did you see towards the end of that game, the very last possession the Eagles had when they were down the line? I think there was maybe 5,000 people left in the stands.
Oh, they were filing out of there.
Yep. Even when we were still driving back from the city, when the Bears had the ball, it was right. I think it was with like under 5 minutes to go. Joniak and Thayer were saying, yeah, this place is filing out quickly. Like they'd given up.
Do you know what one of my favorite moments of that game was?
Which one?
Is when Caleb got the Eagles defense to jump off sides. Jalen Carter jumped offside because they knew they had to come up with a big stop, and Caleb knew they were going to try to jump and try to blow up that play. Hard counted him. Jalen Carter jumped off sides and made it from a 3rd and 5.5 to 3rd and a half yard. And watch the replay of it. Look at the dance Caleb Williams does when he sees the flag come out. He does this little like a 1980s dance club shuffle. It's amazing. Go watch the clip of that, and it will have you smiling ear to ear. You're like, Caleb's out there having fun. He did his thing. He got him to jump. The only thing we need now is next time when you get him to jump, get that, yeah, get a playoff and get a freebie. Get one
Hey,
of
we
those
did
Aaron
see that
Rodgers
last
freebies.
week against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but then they threw an interception. I want to see them. I want to see them take advantage and score a touchdown. So that if you can wave off that false start or that offsides, wave it off with some big play.
Yeah, and I'm sure Ben Johnson wants that too.
Yeah. So it's good. There's a lot of football left to go. There's a lot of football left to go.
Yes, there is.
And nothing is locked up. In fact, NFL probabilities has the Bears at 76% to make the playoffs. 76%.
That's which, considering the record is pretty low.
Yes, because Bears have a better record than the Eagles, and the Eagles' probability is 97%.
Yeah. Well, it goes to show who the experienced winner is and who isn't.
So, uh, you know, there's a long way to go, and there's not a playoff spot locked up yet, but it
Nope.
feels good to be going into week 13 where we're not looking at the far right side of that playoff picture image where it's like bubble teams.
Hey, you're in the hunt with 4-8.
I don't want an in the hunt looking at us going, holy shit, that team is in first place and in going into week 13.
Yeah, it's a feeling we haven't had very often over the past decade plus, and it feels really, really good.
So I love it. I love it. And, the Packers are going to be, the Packers might be our biggest challenge so far.
I think it is. I think it is.
Because the Eagles, that was house money. That was house money. Nothing is house money when you're facing your biggest rival.
And a rival who has been just the absolute hammer to you for 30 years.
And I guarantee you, not an ounce of that is lost on Ben Johnson.
No.
There's like Ben Johnson might want to beat the Packers more than we want the Bears to beat the Packers. Like that, he even said in his press conference, he looks forward to beating Matt LaFleur twice a year.
Yeah, which is kind of scary.
And the funny part is when you heard that, like, you were probably like, oh, they're probably friends taking little digs.
Right.
They've never met each other. They're not friends. He took a shot at the head coach of the Bears' biggest rival immediately in his opening press conference, went, fuck that guy in particular.
Yeah.
Is if the Bears, like this past yesterday's post or locker room celebration was the best one we've had so far. If they can beat the Packers, which is a huge if they can beat the Packers, that one will just be epic.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be, if that does happen, that'll be insane. But they got to do it.
They got to do it.
They got to do it. They haven't
and-
proven as a franchise they can do it yet.
Yep. Is all of this momentum you've built and the rest of the league and all of the announcers and all of the fans outside of Chicago, they're starting to give you tentatively give you some flowers, but they want to take them away. And if you lose to the Packers, they will call you fraudsters.
Oh yeah, they lose the Packers are going to be relentless against you, and the fans are going to be relentless. They're going to say, "We still own you. You're still our bitch. You're frauds. You mean nothing." So yeah, it's a lot on the line.
There's a lot on the line. This is a huge game. And every, you know, it's if you can win these two games against the Packers and that game against the Browns, the rest of your season is gravy. Just
Yes.
absolute gravy. Because if you beat the Packers twice and you beat the Browns, that has you at 12 wins. That wins you the division. The 49ers game and that Lions game don't mean shit.
Right.
And in fact, you beat the Packers twice. Resting everybody in that last game of the season against the Lions it's probably like an implication of either the Packers or the Lions making the playoffs. And if you can rest everybody and let the Packer or the Lions win, and the Packers if get knocked out of the postseason that way, or out of the being able to make the playoffs, would be amazing.
Oh yeah, I know.
But you know what? One game at a time, and that game is in Lambeau, a place that has been the bane of your existence.
Yep. Yep. And I will admit, I'm a little scared about some of the parallels to 2010. Good defense, good defense. 27-year-old quarterback in Green Bay in his third starting year. The Bears are 9-3 for the first time since 2010. The Packers are right behind you. They finished right behind you. They beat you. They won the Super Bowl. That is scaring me a little bit, but we'll see.
Who was
There's
the head
just a
coach of the Bears that year?
Lovey Smith.
Who would you rather have?
Oh, right now I'd rather have Ben Johnson.
I love Lovey Smith. You'll not hear me say a bad thing about Lovey Smith, but when it comes down to it, I I want Ben Johnson
Oh yeah, so do I. So
because
do I.
when Ben Johnson is looking at this team, Ben Johnson wants the offense, the defense, and the special teams functioning. Every single unit. He might be the play caller on offense, but there is no doubt he is sitting in on those defensive meetings. He knows everything that's going on and he has input on things. Lovey Smith was happy to turn the offense over to his offensive coordinator and focus on the defense. And it that man never had a good offense.
No, no, he didn't. And he had a number of coordinators.
Uh, Ben Johnson is an animal, an absolute animal. And it's funny because they both show the same amount of emotion on the sideline, just in a much different way.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's one is intense, the other is just kind of mellow.
The other one is just, happy to be there almost. But Ben Johnson just looks like it. You can't tell if they're up by 30 or down by 30 by looking at his face.
I know.
So here we go. It's Packers week now. It's
Yeah.
officially Packers week. Oh, man. Do we want to talk about any other sports?
I don't really have much else to say. The Blackhawks are kind of coming back down to earth. The ebbs and flows of a young team. The Bulls stink. The Cubs lost out on Dylan Cease. I don't really have anything else.
That Dylan Cease contract was big money.
Yeah, with some deferrals as well.
Yeah, I was not I was sure that Dylan Cease would be a Chicago Cub. And when I saw that contract, I was like, wow, that is a big, big, big money contract.
And if that
And
sets the tone, that scares me.
and that like if those are going to be the contract numbers, I don't see the Cubs being in play for any of those.
Nope. Might have to make a trade.
I think they're going to. Uh, it's like that was stupid money, and it early. That deal happened very, very early.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it happened before Thanksgiving.
Um, you don't see those big moves happening that early anymore.
No, you don't.
But hopefully that means uh, you know, we're going to see some exciting stuff. I think you're going to see Kyle Schwarber move teams.
I don't like the rumors around the Reds.
The Reds, uh, yeah, the Reds are talking some moves.
That team might be scary next year. You see that young rotation they have. If they get an offense, oh boy, that could be a legit team with a lot more firepower.
If Kyle Schwarber goes to the Reds,
That's trouble.
that is trouble.
That's big trouble.
Can you imagine him just mashing at
That park.
that
Yep.
park
Yep.
or Pete Alonso?
Yeah, I wonder where he's gonna go.
I'm hearing Red Sox.
I could see it. Hitting it over the monster.
Um, yeah, I think this hot stove we are going to see moves early and fast.
It's kind of what
And
I'm tired of the dragging out
oh my
seasons.
God, that's why I love the NFL. That free agency, that first 20 or 48 hours, 24 hours, it is just absolute,
It's
nonstop
rapid fire.
mayhem. It's just boom, 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 boom. And baseball, it is a crawl. And it didn't used to be like that.
No.
It has become like that. And uh you're even seeing like big name guys signing like around when they're showing up for spring training or after. Like that's that's crazy. So hopefully we see all the big names sign early and sign quick. And I don't think the Cubs I if that C's contract is any indication of anything, I don't see the Cubs being big players in this free agency market. I think they're going to trade.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe go after Joe Ryan.
And yeah, if this is the market too, the White Sox will not be big players either.
Well,
Any hope we had of the White Sox making a splash somewhere might have gone out the window when that Dylan Cease contract got signed.
yeah, that's like you said, that's big money.
Uh, was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Nope, I've said my piece.
Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. I want to thank everybody so much for listening. Please hit subscribe however you listen to podcasts, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, etc. Share this podcast with your friends, help grow the show. Follow us on social media at Swerski Sports, Facebook.com/Swerski Sports, SwerskiSports.com, or Swerski_sports_podcast on Instagram, or ShyFanPat2 on Alex on Twitter/X, or AlexanderJPatCreative.com for all the cool stuff that Alex does. And again, thank you so much for listening, and until next time, bear down.
Cubs win! What a lucky break! The good Lord wants the Cubs to win!
We thank Ditka and God for all they have provided.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!
Oh, I don't want her. You can have her. She's a Packer fan. She can't fit in my van.
And she looks like number New Yorkers. Smoking crack is not legal on the plains.
Bears 31 to -7.
The Bears.
Oh, when the Bears go bearing down